All right, welcome to our con match for week 5. We're here. It's going to be our final broadcasted con match here for the league. We got Ryan M defending his con title against John P. Goku or go home, and Raphael is going to be telling us what Ryan is working with over there.
We're working with a bit of Teamer action,
Okay,
it seems like. The deck was called Teamer Abzan, but in hand, it's just Simic colors. Well, now we have Teamer.
that sounds like 5 color to me.
Yeah,
That
there's
sounds
two of
like
these,
code. Sounds like
yeah,
code for 5 color.
there's two of these cliffs on the battlefield with the island and a forest in hand. He's chilling with the Force Away, Icy Blast, Crippling Chill, and then he drew the Bloodfire Expert and a Savage Punch. Just
So
recently.
no castable spells, really. I guess crippling chill.
I mean, Force Away is 2 mana, but I don't
Yeah,
think he would do much.
but
What's
no,
John
no,
working with?
no castable creatures. I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So John here is on a Abzan Warriors type of deck here. I think base white black with some green cards. His hand is he has 2 Rush of Battle with no warriors yet to speak of. He's got a debilitating injury and 2 lands, and his morph is a Pine Walker that flips up for 5 mana.
Oh.
He's drawn a Mardu
Um,
Warchief, which is a nice one here.
I think Mardu Horchief is actually pretty nice,
Looks like he's just gonna hit the morph here.
which is fair. It was a 5/5 trampler.
That's a nice one to hit. John's also got a 5/5 under there. Yeah, so the double rush of battle not looking too hot right now, but depending on how the game plays out, you'll be able to make use of it. Sometimes you just do it for the life gain. This was a nice combo here. Savage Punch
Yeah.
with a Bloodfire Expert or a Alpine Grizzly. It effectively works the same. They both fight as 6 power creatures.
Make sure it lives through.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not sure how much more work this expert can really do on this board. Thankfully, though, he has a Jeskai Wind Scout to kind of get through in the sky, though.
yeah.
Has return and then just hold up Force Way and Icy Blasts.
The Bloodfire Expert I found to be a pretty narrow type of card in the format. Even though it's branded as Jeskai, it's really more of like a teamer card because it goes well with like Green Pump Spell, like the Awaken the Bear, and it goes well with anything that can give it trample or become immense specifically can do some harm. But yeah, like I said, branded as Jeskai, but more of a green red base teamer strategy card. But yeah, getting some hits in here with the Bloodfire Expert. Here comes the Horde Chief, and the Hate Blade's going to get replayed. And we got an Abzan guide here in hand for John, which is looking pretty nice on this board when it comes down.
Yeah, I think the issue right now at Ryan's hand is it's just really extremely slow. Like, he has an Icy Blast. I don't know if I'd fire it off here, per se, but he's going to.
Yeah, this is the problem with the blue decks in this format is any type of assertive start from your opponent and you just need to keep up, and blue doesn't have a lot of the cards to keep up. They have some okay defensive things, but it's hard for them to keep up with a fast start.
Well, especially because we know what John has in hand, right? But Ryan doesn't know what he has in hand.
Yeah,
So if Ryan tries to race, John can easily just flip the race in his advantage.
the first rush of battle is going to be devastating here. I mean, he is getting a nice tempo hit here with the Icy Blast. None of them are untapping. Hit for 7. This is kind of what you want to do with your prowess creatures.
It's not bad, but in hand he has a Rattleclaw Mystic.
Okay, I was gonna say if you had another spell, this game could actually be over.
Yeah, might need a bit of help from the top of the deck.
All right, Scoured Barrens here. I think almost John would have wanted the untapped land so we could just play the Abzan guide face up for 6. That would have been
That'd
almost
probably be better
preferable
to have
than it.
Rush the Battle next turn.
Yeah, the Scoured Barrens. I mean, not helpful here. Untapped land would have actually been more helpful. All right, so the
This
attacks
could
have
be the issue
slowed
here.
down.
Yeah, and then from here John can just swing out with 4. He
Yeah,
wants to
he could just play Rush of Battle. He's gonna gain what 10 life here,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's what that card does. He did the same thing to me yesterday. This is like a repeating pattern in the con matches. The person destroys me and then goes and plays their con match, and I have to be reminded of all this. he gave me a thorough beating in both games yesterday. John did, and looks like he's on his way to potentially a victory in this game.
Yeah, it's gonna cut it.
Yeah. Like, this is kind of like, my deck was teamer base. I mean, Ryan's deck looks a bit more aggressive or tricksy or prowessy type of strategy, but just these white black decks that are assertive, just get on board fast. The creatures are good too. Like, the 2-drops are good. Like, the 2-drops in the teamer decks, they leave a bit to be desired. Your Highland Games and your Wetland Sandbars of the world don't really match up well against Bonkins.
So, if I'm correct, Ryan had this deck named Teamer/Abzan.
Okay.
And
does that mean he's siding into a different deck?
Oh, you best believe it.
All right. As long as he's got the lands. As long as he's got the basic lands.
That might be an issue that might arise, because I'm not seeing the lands here. So, you know what? I believe he brought the lands. Yeah, there's 9 plains, 9 swamps. Yeah, I think Ryan he came prepared. He came to play.
Look, I'm sure that he went into his Mardu chat and talked to people about it, and they definitely told him, please make sure you have lands, because that's what good teammates would do.
That's a fair point. Is John even bothering to decide anything, or does he just
No, not really.
Okay. I mean, it's fair.
Yeah, I remember the first team league that we did, the Strixhaven League. We had one of our players in the weekly champion match. And he was a very methodical player, like to the point where I think I fell asleep one time because he was taking so long to play. But he went to sideboard and he did this whole transformational sideboard thing just to realize that he didn't have lands. He just didn't know that you had to import the lands. He just figured it was like limited, where you can swap in and out of unlimited basics.
So interesting question.
And then he had to undo the whole thing.
I know when you're playing on Arena normally, there's timers, right? So you can just let the timer go, and all your changes will revert back to the way they were.
Yeah.
But because we're not playing timers, if you just hit done, does it save the changes you made?
As long as your deck is legal, meets the requirement, which in this case is, I guess, 40 cards, right? As long as you have at least 40 cards in your deck, it'll accept it, right?
So you have to put your deck back together the way it was, though. You can't just rely on the client just going, hey, you know what? We understand.
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
It hasn't come up with me, but I just remember being like, oh, no. He took so long to do the transformational sideboard, too. It wasn't like one of those ones where, they have it written down already, or they have, their deck pulled up. He was doing it on the fly.
Yeah, I think at that point, I'm probably going to request to remake the game, not even bother doing the transformational sideboard, but just get my deck back without having to do all that work.
I don't think he knew that was really an option. It was still early days here on the server. We hadn't, things weren't as fleshed out as they are now. But any highlights of this deck that he's bringing in that we can speak about here?
We got a Doom Blast over here.
Okay, that's enough. Okay, cool. All right, got it. We're good now. Tell me more.
I can't really see it right now. He's just double checking to make sure the deck's where it wants. But really, it's just a lot more low to the ground. Put in some Horde Chiefs, a kill shot. I mean, it's just your run of the mill Abzan. Really nothing out crazy. There's the I forget if it's a 6/7 Fortress dude that untaps your dudes with counters.
The 5/7, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really think that card's anything to write home about, right?
I mean, you play it if you're Abzan.
Yeah,
it's pretty
he did leave the Savage Punches in here though, and based off his current hand, it's 3 lands, but there's a Chief of the Edge, Watch of the Roost, Debilitating, and then Savage Punch.
Right. Yeah, yeah. When you said Teamer/Abzan, I was like, oh, that just sounds like a 5-color deck. We're gonna see a particularly nasty run out here for John. He's got Anafenza the Foremost as a follow-up, which is an Abzan Mythic, and he's got High Sentinels of Arishin. The rest of his hand are lands, so if Ryan can answer these threats, he can proceed with his with his game plan here. But Anafenza plus High Sentinels is a pretty scary proposition here.
Now, if he had green, he could answer Anafenza. He could 2-for-1 himself, because he has the 1/1 Death Toucher.
The Mardu Hateblade?
Yeah, I mean, I guess what he can do is
then he
morph
Savage Punch or something?
Yeah, but he doesn't have the green mana, so I guess he's just going to play it as a morph and then look to use it as a blocker.
Oh, the Ruthless Ripper. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Not the Hate Blade.
And he has a bit of revelation now. The High Sentinel, there's really no answer right now.
Yeah, like I was saying in yesterday's con match that like this card stands the test of time. Like this would still be a bomb rare in today, like if it came out in the most recent set.
So we're going to look through some cards, find a feat in a Forest Plan tap. There's no point. He'll just rip out the Jungle Hollow.
Yeah.
And there's really still nothing to do. And because he had to use a bit of revelation, there's currently no way to flip this morph.
We got a Murderous Cut here in hand for John. Nothing else, just lands. 4 lands and a Murderous Cut. But
yikes.
Murderous Cut's going to go a long way here, potentially.
Yeah, he can just swing out here. He's fine.
Yeah, so if there's a block of some kind, he can blow it out here.
So you see he wants to block with this morph, but...
But he does not have the Death Touch, so it's not really an option.
Exactly.
Yeah, tricky there.
So he'll just save it for later. Is John just going to hold up Murderous Cut, I assume?
Yeah, he's got nothing else, just the lands. But if he doesn't use the Murderous Cut, he has the option of putting a counter with the High Sentinel ability.
Yeah. So I guess he's going to run out a Watcher here, and he does have the resistance to flip it. I guess he's looking for a triple block on Anafenza. And the resistance will allow him to pull that out.
Okay, here's a Rush of Battle, not exactly useful at this time. Anafenza's got to be a warrior, though.
I mean, I think John's just fine to just keep swinging here, right?
At least with the birds. I mean, he may respect the morphs here.
Yeah.
I mean, for 3 mana, the morphs that could be flipped up are not very big. But there's the Death Touch one, but I don't know if that's on his radar. It's an uncommon, so unlikely. But
I mean, John will be able to get rid of Anafenza or Ryan, but there's still no answer to the High Sentinel, which will just kill him next turn.
Yeah, I mean, this is just he's putting him to 5 here. So regardless of what's happening, I mean, I guess he could gain a couple life with the Watcher of the Roost and jump block. Because you said that was one of the morphs, right?
Yeah, he'll probably reveal the feat. Thankfully, because John has murder, so he'll murder first.
Right, well, he's just going to do the face-up trick here, which is put a counter on it. Hey, as simple as that, right?
Now, does he have enough to delve it?
I mean, as far as I know, the Seeker's the only card in his graveyard.
Ooh, okay. Ripped off the top suspension field.
Okay.
We got a game. This
is now turned pretty hard here for Ryan, though the Murderous Cut is going to take down anything that's, going to be scary.
I can say I'm surprised though Ryan didn't flip the Watcher with one of these cards that he used, but it's probably fine either way.
I mean, is it that he can't do it anymore now?
Well, he only has. Can you reveal a land to flip it?
Yeah, lands do not have a color as part of their identity.
So he does have Savage Punch here. Okay. For the Horde Thief, if he wants to get a little aggressive.
Yeah, the Murderous Cut will put an end to that, though.
Yeah.
Oh, he's revealing another suspension field. Wow, okay.
Just ripped off the top for turn.
I mean, he doesn't need to use it here. Sorry.
Looking like he's thinking about it.
Just try and get the game over with. I get it. It's a 2-turn clock if there's nothing on John's side, which, I mean, his hand is a swamp and a rush of battle, so... Yeah.
So, as it stands now, we're going to need some help off the top of the deck on John's side, then.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, there's still, a 5-turn clock here? That's plenty of time.
Yeah, we got a Blood-Soaked Champion, so a nice rare here. 2-1, can't block, and you bring it back into play if something attacked, including itself.
And it is a warrior, isn't it?
Yes, most definitely a warrior. he's
got
a Death Frenzy here, which, I mean, I like the card. Just doesn't seem to fit in too well with this deck. But he kind of just uses it as a 1-for-1 here to kill the bird, which is completely fine because his Bloodsoaked Champion comes back. So, yeah, Death Frenzy, pretty good though against a lot of the aggro decks out there.
This hurts. This hurts. Going to
Oh,
1.
oh, that
I'm surprised he didn't Savage Punch the champion.
that is pain.
Yeah, he's really gonna need some help off this next draw. I mean, the Kieran's nice.
Yeah, I mean it keeps him alive at the very least. But this the problem with Savage Punch is that there's a Death Touch creature on the other side here,
Yeah,
and a creature that comes back. So it's like, Savage Punch. It's good when it's good, but like fight spells sometimes are not exactly what you need it to do right now.
I think we all agree bites are better than fights, right?
Well, yeah, obviously
Yeah.
you're much less likely to get blown out. I mean,
Well,
your creature can still get blown out, but it means like you don't die to Death Touch, or if your opponent has a combat trick, you don't get screwed necessarily. You don't lose your creature. The fact that when your bite spell as your bite spell resolves, you can't lose your creature. You can lose it while it's still on the stack, but right. So debilitating injury here. I mean, decent. He's going to debilitate, I think, the Saddle Brute just immediately and just force trades here.
Which makes sense.
Actually, it's not a trade. Well, one of them is going to be a chump block, and one of them is going to be a trade. So, forcing a chump and a trade.
Oh, he's just going to... Oh, okay.
I mean...
That's the game.
He was allowed to block, right? As far as I know.
Hey, listen.
Anyway... well, that'll do it for our con match here for week 5. And John P. has taken the title of Con of Mardu. I'm sure we'll hear all about it on the podcast. Looking forward to that, and looking forward to seeing everybody for the next league.